What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Gem X. This is episode, what are we on, 5?
Live.
Episode 5. I'm Mr. Mint, and of course, I have my co-host, Mr. X. What's going on?
I think we should put my name first.
Of course you would think that.
Yeah.
M is before X in the alphabet. We could always play the alphabet.
Well, our logo says your name first.
Okay. So Mr. X.
Yeah, if
Mr. X and Mr. Mint.
Name's Gem, so that's where the Gem X collaboration. And I don't have a first name, so.
Yeah, well, Extreme Mint didn't have as nice a ring to it.
Sounds something like my departed grandfather would eat.
So what do we got on the topic today? So the thumbnail, it's funny because we chose this on Wednesday, the whole border thing, the Supreme Court voting with the Biden administration. We'll get into it. But what's funny is we were talking behind the scenes. The topic is even more relevant today than it was on Wednesday.
Super hot today. Yeah. So we're going to cover that. We're going to talk about the New Hampshire, the primaries that just happened in that New Hampshire. What the fuck?
New Hampshire, man. Jeez.
New Hampshire state. And we're gonna tail off. Last week we did the top movie sequels of all time. We're gonna do the worst movie sequels of all time. So
I'm looking forward to this one. You know, speaking of movie sequels, I was actually just watching Total Recall, the 2012 version. They really, you know what's funny? They went all out with the cast. They must have lost money because I didn't hear anything about this movie. But you had Bryan Cranston, you had Colin Farrell, you had Jessica Biel. You had a lot of people, man.
So after this is over, my family's waiting upstairs. My teenage daughter, we're finally going to watch Barbie. That's the agenda tip for tonight. I've been putting it off.
I saw Barbie. Did you see? My wife sent me a meme. It was like a reel. Oh, you didn't see the movie Barbie though, but it was like when DeSantis finally ended his campaign, and it shows her like letting her feet down in her high heel position. That shit was funny, man.
I gotta watch the movie.
Yeah. They say he wears hot heels.
So I think let's tackle the border first.
Okay.
So just a quick update for everybody. So the Attorney General and the governor in Texas decided to put up barbed wire at the border where there were a lot of crossings.
Was it Governor Greg Abbott is the guy, right?
And in December, believe it or not, it was the highest number of crossings into the U.S. ever, 300,000. So
I saw that.
So they put up barbed wire, and the White House issued an order that you need to let federal border patrol agents in to cut down the barbed wire. They didn't order them to cut. They didn't order Texas agents to cut down the barbed wire. You said you need to give us access so we can come down and cut down the barbed wire, which we'll get to in a second because that's a little weird. Why do we want to open it up? But and the Attorney General in Texas and the Governor Greg Abbott said, no, that's not going to happen. That's illegal. And then it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said you have to do what the White House and the federal administration is telling you to do. And you have until Friday, January 26th, which is today, to comply. And even an hour ago, they said no. And they've issued orders that there's a lot of layers to this. Do you want to add anything?
There's so much. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, let's take it all the way back to the beginning, right? Because we would like to try to be as bipartisan as we can. So what are your thoughts on illegal immigration? Let me just, because again, we purposely don't talk to each other so that we can have these conversations. Let's take it to the root of all this. What are your, if you don't mind, what are your roots on illegal immigration? Your thoughts?
So first of all, I think I've told you this before. I'm 1/8 Native American. So first of all, if anyone deserves reparations, it was my ancestors because they were.
Well, don't Native Americans? They do get reparations though. They get some type of monthly. I don't know what it's called. I knew a couple of people that they were able to receive some type of money through. I don't know.
All my relatives are dead, so
through the casinos or something, or I don't know.
But anyway, so I've been here, so I'm a native, literally. My family was a native. I honestly, I've traveled all over the world, and some countries really have it tough. They really, really do, without a doubt.
Right.
And I think that absolutely America should share their wealth to a point. They should put programs in place to help some of those struggling people. but not at the expense of the people who are already here. So you and I have it very well. I mean, if you have a roof over your head and you're not worried about where you're going to eat tomorrow, you have it good. But there are a lot of people that live here in America that were born here or that have immigrated legally who don't have that satisfaction tonight. They don't have a roof over their head. They don't know where their next meal is coming from. So I think take care of your own first, just like you and I would take care of my family before I took care of yours. And
right, of course. I mean,
right.
I think everybody would be expected to do that. But again, so there is a legal path to immigration in this country, is there not? Why is there this all of a sudden rush to do it illegally, to just, cut the line, go under the fence, get the barbed wire down? Like, how is that a thing? I'm just curious. Like, I don't understand how we got to this point, I guess.
So I think there's two parts to this. Are you looking at the part from people immigrating from Mexico? And it's not just Mexicans either.
It's not. They're coming through
to go to Mexico to get through.
So look, if you're doing very bad financially, you're better off going to Mexico and coming back through talking about you're a migrant. You know what I mean? They'll give you $5,000, free room and board, a free cell phone. But so everybody's coming through Mexico. But I guess I'm just genuinely curious on. I mean, I have my conspiracy theories on why it's happening. I think some of the chat is kind of alluding to that. They're trying to get in voters. They're trying to get as many people in here, and it's not women and children and families. It's these military-aged men. It's basically an invasion, is what it looks like. Why is some of the country supporting this, I guess, is what I'm trying to ask.
Let me finish. So people coming over, some of them are looking for a better life, absolutely. And some are families. There's not just military-aged men, to your point. There's a lot of criminals coming over, just like there's a lot of criminals in America. There's a lot of criminals in other countries, and they're coming over as well, which is horrible. And the conspiracy theories you're talking about, people are saying, yeah, they're going to add to the vote of the current administration. That's why they're letting them in.
Which I don't think that's not a thing yet.
You don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure later this year, voter ID will be a huge topic on this platform. But to me, I swear, our government just wants us in chaos. That's why they're so divisive. They don't like Americans being in control and being confident. I mean, I think COVID was a big part of that. We're finding all these things out about COVID that we didn't have to do the restrictions that we did that ruined people's businesses and lives.
I saw something came out the other day that Fauci said, hey, the 6 foot of distance thing, that was just something that we woke up to one day. It wasn't like a proven scientific thing.
Correct. And don't get me wrong, I know people that died from COVID. And I know, I told you my mother was in the hospital for 6 weeks. And so I'm not saying it wasn't real. I'm not a conspiracy person like that. But
then if you really want to go down that rabbit hole, then you got to ask, where did it really come from and how did it really get here?
Well, this should have been a topic too. It was a news article that came out this week of how it was one of the companies, I think it was Pfizer, they amended their patent on their COVID stuff in April of 19 that it would cover an accidental release that nobody else could do it. So, yeah.
Kind of like somebody took out insurance on the Twin Towers like the month before the 9/11. Anyway, so let's stay on topic. So anyway, and to someone in the chat, I understand the legal path to citizenship. Citizenship is a lengthy process, but isn't that put in place to avoid having people who are, criminals or have, these sketchy backgrounds or what have you? But, I don't know. So anyway, so that's the thing that's happening. People are trying to come in for a better life. Maybe that's like, okay, that's like, what's the word I'm looking for? The in a perfect world situation, that's what we think that's happening, but maybe more than that is happening because of these policies. So for the past 3 years, we've been seeing an increased amount of illegal immigration, and to the point where Texas is saying, you know what, forget it. We're not sitting here waiting for help from the Biden administration. We're going to secure and protect our own border, which led to where we're at now, where they're putting up these fences with this barbed wire. The federal government is saying you can't do that. You got to take it down, and it goes to the Supreme Court.
But first of all, it's working. The barbed wire is working. Yeah, I mean,
well, you want to hear hypocrisy? They currently have barbed wire fences up around the White House right now because of protests. So that's okay, but it's not okay at the southern border.
Yeah, Well, what's funny too is when one of the first things Biden did is when he was in office was return to Mexico. He reversed that policy. He stopped the construction of the wall. They even took it down in some areas later on. But after things started going south really quick, he made Kamala Harris the vice president in charge.
The borders are.
Yeah, Eric in the chat just said, the borders are. And I think
worst borders are ever.
well, I think they did that because they knew this is going to turn to be a no-win situation, and someone's going to have to take the fall. So let's set up.
So she's going to be the fall guy.
Well, she doesn't even know what time of the day it is, so it fits.
Neither does he.
that's true. But yeah,
it's really whoever really running the show. It's obviously not the two figureheads, but that's a whole other story.
Well, and I want to get back to this. So our thumbnail is a little bit misleading. It says that SCOTUS is wanting illegal immigration. Right. SCOTUS is not saying that Texas needs to take down the barbed wire. They're saying they need to Texas needs to allow federal border agents to get in that area, which is smart. But the Biden administration is telling the federal border agents, you need to cut down the barbed wire. So SCOTUS was ruling on allowing the border agents access to the entire border, which should.
It's their job to interpret the law, and they're saying, okay, well, technically, they're supposed to be able to have access. You got to let them take it down. They're not saying lift it up and let everybody come in, but that's kind of how it's interpreted. But it's almost like, why does the federal government want to come and remove the barbed wire fence so bad?
Exactly. That's the point. So I don't think it's more on, questioning, hey, why is SCOTUS Supreme Court, if you're unfamiliar, allowing this? They just want the border agents to have access to the whole border. And so I saw something, and I think this is another big thing too. So Governor Abbott, Greg Abbott, Texas governor, said, no, fuck you. 24 other governors have signed a petition saying we support him. So that's half the U.S., including Texas.
That's scary, man. It's almost giving like Civil War vibes.
It is. It's as divisive as it can get.
But what's crazy is that this Greg Abbott he's in India right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So there's this whole other thing where I forget the name of the guy that's in charge. It's the lieutenant governor, but he's like a conservative guy too. But so he's the guy who's technically in charge right now while Abbott's in India. So I don't know how much that matters or not. But yeah, it's kind of scary that there's like this standoff, like they're deliberately disobeying the federal government. But you know what I said? Like, imagine somebody from the federal government coming over to Texas saying, hey, you need to let us through. We need to cut this down. We're just following orders. It's sounding like World War II Nazi stuff right here. Like, so we're trying to secure and defend our border. You're coming over here and you're telling us you're just doing your job by taking it down.
I'm gonna stop you. I disagree with you. World War II Nazi said, let's kill people that I think that's a different.
No, but the angle is a lot of the soldiers would just chalk it up to, hey, I'm just following orders.
Yeah. But I don't want to compare the massacre of 6 million people due to racism. That's what it was. It was due to racism to the border being open. But I will say this. So I saw the lieutenant governor, and again, I can't remember his name. They were interviewing today at the border.
Something with a P, like Plensky or something, Pulowski. I don't know. I could be way off.
He said this is great. He's like, and even if they came in here and somehow they got in to cut down the barbed wire, he goes, we'd put up more. He's like, the second they took one out,
which they could. So what is this game that we're playing, right?
Yeah, they could. I mean, technically, like I said, they're not in trouble because they're putting up barbed wire. They're in trouble because they're not letting the border people in that area. And
so here's the thing. This is where this whole thing came from. It's in the name. Illegal immigration is in the name. You're coming over illegally. So I don't understand how the government could support illegal immigration. That's just what's blowing my mind. I mean, change the laws if that's the case.
And to your point, why? Why is that such a big deal? The conspiracy theories of this is going to get more voters. I don't buy that. I mean, do you think these people are going to vote?
Well, here's the scary part. They don't have to vote. Somebody could just vote for them, send in ballots with their name and information on it. So I was with you. I'm like, these people, they're not going to give a shit. They don't show up to the court date for the path to citizenship anyway. They'll just come over legally and stay. So
there's these countless stories how these people are getting mad that their accommodations aren't good enough. And that's not all of them. That's not all of them. These are far and few between stories, but they are happening.
I'm not even mad at them.
They're
I'm
mad
mad
at
our
the Biden administration.
right. Yeah, because they were told that this is what they would get if they come over here. But what was that thing with Kamala was on here saying, "Do not come, do not come." Whatever happened to that?
That when there was
That was Guatemala or something
about this whole situation, that was her response. But
that was years ago, though.
Yeah, it didn't do anything.
No, this year's gonna be fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, but I still question because I even think that there's not going to be enough votes to make a difference. Even though, which it's funny, this is going to segue into the primaries really well. But I think it's to cause chaos. I really do. I think they like Americans in chaos. They like us divided. They like us upset. I mean,
well, think about what happened during an election year last time. They had to ensue chaos in order to manipulate to get what they want. So this is definitely it. Yeah, I see someone in the chat. America was founded by illegal immigrants. I mean, I can see that argument. You know what I mean? I get that.
Who was it? There was some left-wing politician. Oh man, you and I talked about it. It was like 6 months ago. He goes, "Can you imagine if people actually overthrew the government? Like that would just be horrid, and that's not democracy." And then someone told him that's how our country was founded.
It's literally the revolution.
Yeah, I think it was Al Sharpton. It was someone just like, this is how we. But so. Biden's campaign promise, he had a bunch of them. I'm going to forgive your student loans. I'm going to.
Didn't he go against the Supreme Court with that?
Yeah, but Texas isn't allowed to. So you like how I got that in there?
I see.
His biggest campaign promise was reunification. We need to get back to which is true, which is 100% true. Anyone that's in that position needs to reunify us. But you should follow him on Twitter. And I know it's not him tweeting. Every single day, he singles out half the country, calling them criminals and crazy people, and it's like that's.
But it's almost like he is going to unify people, but not in the way that he intended. Like if you look at all these other states backing up Texas, it's like, yeah, you're unifying people, all right.
No, so it's an interesting situation. I want to see how it's going to play out. They did so. The last I heard, and this was like an hour ago. They said that if Texas doesn't comply, which it looks like they're not going to, they're going to take the Texas National Guard and federalize them, which I guess is the thing. You can take the state National Guard. However, the spokesperson for the Texas National Guard said, yeah, go ahead and try it. We're not, so, I mean, this really could be a succession or,
right.
Seceding from the union or
they call it a Texit.
yeah, not Brexit, but Texit. So yeah, it's a crazy situation. Let's definitely see what happens and give an update next week. But I mean, I think your thoughts and mine are aligned. Why is it such a big deal to make sure illegal immigrants can come in illegally? Right. Why is that a priority for our government to? I mean, I understand you want to take care of people that came over and are already over, but why are we making a huge priority to make sure they can get over?
Isn't it just suspect, though, on how many people are coming nonstop every day? It's just like something doesn't pass the sniff test on this is what I'm saying. It seems like there's an ulterior motive going on here.
So I did see someone say, so recently, if you're unfamiliar, they've been shipping illegal immigrants to everywhere. And at first they shipped them mostly to Republican states, mostly, but not all. But now a lot of them are filled. So they've been shipping them everywhere. And a lot of the people who were really pro illegal,
the sanctuary cities, they were sending them to New York and Chicago.
Yeah, they're like, we don't have room. So at least they're getting a reprieve now.
I know, it was so hypocritical how those governors for those cities, like in 2020, were like, bring them here. We're sanctuary cities. Everybody come. And then when Texas was like, we don't want all these people. We're not a sanctuary city. I can't say that word, sanctuary city. We're not a sanctuary state. You guys can have them if you want them. And then when they sent them there, and then it was a big problem. It's like, okay, so we're supposed to just take them? We didn't even vote for this.
Absolutely. Speaking of voting, good transition. You like that segue? Yeah. So this week we had the New Hampshire primaries. And if you're unfamiliar, primaries, starts with the Iowa caucus. And allegedly they would go to every single state if needed. It's never needed for that, but it's to get the nominations for the Republican and Democratic parties. there's a voting system. It's not as big as the general presidential election, and they get delegates. Delegates are kind of like electoral votes, except a state isn't all or none. You can, so for example, Iowa happened, and for just the Republicans, and there was five, or actually, I think there's 5 that were officially running, and 3 of them dropped out, and it just left Trump and Nikki Haley. And so the New Hampshire primaries occurred this last week. So for the Republican side, Trump and Nikki Haley were actually running for it. And some of the other ones who already dropped out got votes because people wrote their names in. But Biden didn't put his information in, like he didn't care. And what's interesting is Biden still had his name wrote in 60,000 times, which is never happened.
I thought I saw 30,000. I mean, it doesn't matter. 60,000, 30,000. Yeah, apparently they all came in the middle of the night, just like in 2020, just like in 2020's general election.
Well, and I'm looking at the results here. So to kind of put this in perspective, so New Hampshire is an interesting state too. So like Iowa, whatever you're registered as, if you're registered Republican, you have to vote for one of the Republican nominees,
which makes sense
in the primaries, not in the November election.
But New Hampshire's not like that.
No, you can vote for anyone, and independents can vote for anyone as well. That's why they're independent. But so Donald Trump received 176,000 votes. Nikki Haley received 140,000 votes. And again, we don't know if the people voting for them were independent, Republican.
I thought we do know.
Well, why don't you talk about what you and I started? Whenever we start talking,
so here's the thing. So Trump got 51% of the votes. Nikki Haley had a strong amount of votes, but what I saw was that 70% of the voters that voted Nikki Haley were registered independents or Democrats. So basically what you have is people who are never going to vote for her in the primaries anyway, voting for her for New Hampshire. I don't know, maybe they were trying to get her to win New Hampshire, which she still lost either way. But see, the thing is, in Iowa, DeSantis dropped out, Vivek dropped out because Trump blew them away. And they dropped out and endorsed him. But Nikki Haley now staying in the race because it was so close. But it's like, again, the majority of these votes are not coming from people that are voting Republican in the primary anyway. So I don't know. It's just for headlines, I guess. I don't know.
So just a correction on my data. Biden got 79,000 votes. Trump still had about 100,000 more than him. And keep in mind, though, Trump was on the ballot. Biden was not. They had to have his name.
Right, man. So yeah, I saw that they were saying something like, but way before this happened, that they're so concerned about getting Trump off the ballot, they forgot to register Biden
on the ballot. Yeah,
but I'm new to this. New Hampshire must be a red state anyway, right? I mean, it's something that
I don't. Is
it a swing state? I don't even know.
No, I'm gonna find out right now.
Well, put it this way: are they one of the states that's backing Texas right now? Because that's always a clear indication.
Yes, New Hampshire has gone Democrat since 1992. Every president.
Oh wow! So New Hampshire now went red.
Well, no, I don't think you can say that because people had to write Joe Biden's name and let's be honest, we have a lot of low information voters. They might have walked into that booth and didn't know you could write in. They were looking for Joe Biden's name
and like, what the hell? And maybe they voted for Nikki Haley instead, right?
Yeah.
They figured, you know what? Anyone but Trump is like what a lot of voters are going to do. So that makes a little more sense, to be honest.
So the next one is Nevada. Nevada is next. And to my knowledge, I think Nikki Haley missed the cutoff, so she won't be on the ballot, I think. I thought I heard
New Hampshire is backing Texas. Thank you, Chris and Logan.
Okay. So yes, Nikki Haley will not be on the ballot in Nevada. So just like Biden, people have to write her name in. And
what is going on, man? That's like, how unorganized is this shit? You had 4 years to get it together.
Filed paperwork is what I saw in the news story.
I'm gonna tell you right. I don't know who the hell supports Nikki Haley. She is obviously a rhino, Democrat in disguise. She's backed by Democrats. Her policies are pro-war. See, here's the whole thing. I don't want to have any wars. I don't know who the hell's supporting war. It's crazy to me. But Nikki Haley is definitely a terrible choice. I think anybody with a brain can see that. But so Nevada next, huh? All right. Got to see. So basically, there's no other GOP candidates. It's basically just Donald Trump's going to be.
Well,
who else is there?
And here's the funny thing, if you're watching this and you watch the media, you would have no idea that Trump won New Hampshire because every single media story said it was a horrible night for Trump. And here's the story I'm reading right now. This is off of USA Today. Trump won't win the Nevada primary. That's the title of it. Nikki Haley's not even on the ballot, so he's the only.
Who else is going to win?
But yeah, so you got to dig into these facts. I mean, everyone was talking about what a disaster New Hampshire was for Trump, and he won by more points than any Republican in history against someone else, because New Hampshire is usually pretty split.
It's just that he just didn't win by a landslide like he did in Iowa. I guess he didn't look as good for that. I don't know. He still won though. It's just crazy.
Okay, so I'm reading this story. This is USA Today, and it was printed yesterday, and it says, so the title is Trump won't win the Nevada primary, and then it says in the first paragraph, but he'll still be the nominee.
You can't, mainstream media has become such a joke. Like, you can't trust any of these news sources. You got to really just look at the facts, from both ends, and
while we're clearly conservative, this is true about Fox News too. Fox News is a bunch of bullshit sometimes.
First of all, no, Fox News has been a joke ever since Tucker left. They kind of became like a laughable organization. I think when he was there, people like Hannity and Waters and all these other, they seemed like reputable. But once, and not to say that Tucker is the most reputable guy. He was wrong about the what was it? Was it Sandy Hook, or I'm thinking about Alex Jones? He was wrong about some shit, but it seems like since he left, there's been a shift. I can't watch any mainstream news, whether it's Fox or CNN. They're all terrible, man. They're all completely biased. It's really difficult to watch. Like, I watch it, and it's like, you think I'm an idiot is when I'm watching these channels. It's unbelievable.
Have you not been out on the streets? We have a lot of idiots in our country. I mean, here's the truth. There are people that are watching this either live or after the fact saying we're idiots because we disagree with them, and
you mentioned something, we're both conservatives. See, I want to disagree with you there. I think I'm just using common sense, but common sense has become a extremist right-wing thing these days. I think I would have been like a Democrat in the 80s, but right now it's like, if you're using common sense and critical thinking, you're a right-wing MAGA Republican. It's like, nah, I'm just using common sense, bro.
And I told you this, it might have been on the podcast, the first one, but our last election in 22 here in my state, I voted for the Democratic governor because he was the best candidate. Okay.
No, and I mentioned that too. Like, I never vote based on party. I'm always going to vote on whoever is making the most sense, saying things that are for the better of the whole country. I'm not even a selfish person where it's like, oh, you're going to waive off a specific debt that only I have and it doesn't affect everybody. Oh, I'm going to vote for you. I don't look at it like that. I would rather, what is going to be better for everybody? What's going to make the country the best? But that's kind of hypocritical for me to say, because I've never voted for anything ever in my life. I've never voted once for a local, for a president or anything.
So the problem with, this next election, let's assume it's going to be Trump versus Biden. We don't know. I mean, that's a whole nother story, whether Biden will be able to get up and Trump won't be in jail. And
I don't know how you can support Biden, man. This guy is obviously not there.
So there are so many people that are diehard Biden fans. I mean, just like there are Trump. It's the same way.
Because you're in Colorado. I don't know what the hell's going on with Colorado, man. They're fucking crazy over there.
I told you, we're liberals who love guns.
Yeah, I could understand not liking Trump, but when he's forming sentences, they're coherent sentences that have knowledge behind them. This guy Biden is like.
Well, what's interesting is Biden put out a campaign commercial this week showing all the times that Trump misspoke. So he was speaking gibberish, and it questioned Trump's mental acuity. I'm on like 9 whiskeys. I'm allowed to be a little off right now.
Biden just had a speech that just came out now. The whole thing is incoherent. Every single thing he said is like a gaffe.
But here's the problem. Like I said, low information voters. So our Epstein podcast, I think it was podcast 2, the second one we did, maybe 2 or 3. We really appreciate everyone commenting. And an individual commented who clearly wasn't a fan of Trump, basically said Trump is on Epstein's list. You guys need to look that up. And if you watch the episode, he wasn't on Epstein's list. He was in the court documents because they asked Epstein, should we invite Trump? And he said no. He didn't want to invite
But it shows
Trump.
up in the doc, right?
But yeah, so in media's lead with that, and this individual who I heard that Trump was on Epstein's list. But no, he was in the court documents because Epstein didn't want him to come.
Or I think they said something about Trump's casino as well. Should we go over to Trump's casino? Yeah, let's go there on Thursday. Okay, boom, Trump showed up in the Epstein doc.
Yeah. Although it's interesting, I just saw one day one of our sessions has to be on The View. We got to talk about The View. But Whoopi, who I remember Whoopi back in movies like Sister Act and Ghost.
I was a fan. I was a huge fan.
Yeah, comedian, hilarious, but not anymore. But
insane,
She was saying that someone forged her name on the documents. She was saying that.
They say a lot of crazy shit on The View. We could have hours of reactions to that.
We should do a whole month of if news ever gets slow, like maybe next year. We can do a whole month of
especially after let's say in December, we can go back and see if a lot of people see if a lot of those things that were true, what they said or whatnot. What the insurrection is going on here?
He said, "Oh, speaking of which, hey, look at this. See if he sees that. Oh,
yeah,
that's a sick mansion shirt on, baby.
There you go.
Comfortable as hell, man. He don't spare no expense. Not like your shirt you gave me, dude, is scratchy as hell.
Mine?
Yeah, you gave me the Kingpin one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible material. This is
I actually found this one. We were digging in old boxes today.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So if you're unfamiliar, if you're new here, this is your first time checking in, Mr. Mint and I, this is not our main thing. We base behind us do pop culture collectible stuff. We have other channels for that. So some of our references are to that. But I think someone else in the chat made a great point too. I can't remember who it was, but they said that Biden and Trump are mumbling idiots. I don't trust either of them. You know, someone who says that, I listen to them and I respect them. You know what I mean? They're not blindly loyal to one or the other. So,
yeah.
But yeah, how can you support Trump or any Republican candidate? So someone commented that's another thing. So you're saying everyone who's a Republican is bad? But to me, you need to. I mean, like I said, I'll vote for a Democrat. I'll vote for a Republican. I'll vote for the best candidate. That's what's, you know, I mean, no disrespect to that person. I respect your opinion, but to me, that's what's wrong with our country. It's like, I'm not going to vote for any Republican. Well,
right.
I mean, for me to say I would never vote for a Democrat would mean that's what's wrong with our country, in my opinion. No disrespect.
That's party bias.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right. So we covered the border thing. We covered the New Hampshire thing. When is the Nevada caucus coming up?
It's this week, next week. So
next week.
Interesting. After Nevada is South Carolina, which is Nikki Haley's home state.
Okay.
And apparently nobody has endorsed. Oh, so it's a while away. It's like February something.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit away, but yeah, so that's here we go. Man, you'd think it'd be easy just to find a date. All right, Nevada is February 6th. All right.
Okay. So that's going to be coming up. Is that next week or the week after?
Week after. I agree, Eric.
I think and all this basically means is who's going to be the nominee for the party, right? So is Biden the nominee for the Democrats right now still? I guess he is because he's the current president.
I don't know if a current incumbent has ever not been the nominee.
Right, that's the thing.
Unless they resigned or were killed or.
So here's the thing. I don't think the Biden and Harris ticket, I don't think there's a lot of confidence there. But you kind of called this, and I've been seeing it floating around in other media recently. What if they flipped it? What if he says, "Hey, listen, I'm going to drop out, whatever, my age, my health, and we're going to get a clean slate. We're bringing in Gavin Newsom and Michelle Obama." I feel like that team, I think that would be more of a formidable challenge for Trump and whoever he's picking for his VP, which we still don't know who it is.
Yeah, there was rumors today. I told you that Ben Carson and Kristi Noem were the most recent rumors.
See, I don't know Kristi Noem. I know Ben Carson. He's the brain surgeon. He ran for president, I think, in 2016, I think it was. I don't think he ran in 2020 against Trump. Maybe he did. I don't remember. I hear the name Ben Carson, but I haven't heard or seen anything from Ben Carson in a long time.
16. It might have been 16.
What's that? I'm pretty sure it was 16. What happened to all these guys? You had Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio. All these guys were running in 2016.
Well, it costs a lot of money. So,
I think Vivek spent $30 million on his campaign. He's a billionaire.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm specifically trying to look something up. All
right, let me see what these comments are talking about.
Yeah. So
Newsom is bullshit, and Michelle, he doesn't want to. I see what you did, Chris and Logan. Yeah, the thing is, Newsom, man, I don't see how anybody can vote for him. They tried to kick him out as the governor of California, but I guess he got the votes. You know how that goes down. But Newsom, man, he destroyed California, so why would he be the president?
So here's my prediction, and you've heard it before, but I want to go on record. So I agree. I think the Democrats know that Biden and Harris are not a winning formula, no matter what. So they got to do something. And I don't think they're going to replace Biden, because to replace the incumbent, is really before the election is just not something they would do. So I think they're going to get one of the Supreme Court justices, one of the ones in the 60s. And most of those are the Republican ones, but they're going to get them to retire somehow. And then they're going to come to Kamala Harris and say, "Hey, you want to be a Supreme Court on the Supreme Court?" And of course she's going to say yes, because she knows don't get me wrong, she's not that smart, but she knows that she's got to know she's hated. She's got to know her.
Right. Yeah. She's less popular than Biden.
Yeah. So that would be her stepping down, but saving face, because
to be on the Supreme Court is crazy.
Till you die. So she would go do that. And then the Senate, I don't know if you guys know this, but if a vice president vacates during the term, the Senate elects a new vice president. So they would elect Michelle Obama, in my opinion. And then after Biden and Obama win the election, because Michelle Obama would be, whether she was VP or presidential candidate, she'd be really hard to beat. She would be. But
the problem is, why is she qualified for that position? But that doesn't even matter these days. I mean, she has experience being there. Her husband was a president.
People would say the same thing about Trump in 2015.
Right. It's true. Or he had no experience. He never held a political seat.
She has more. So anyway.
Well, not anymore, but yeah, that's what you're saying.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Oh, I know she does, because she's been there for 8 years. She's been by her husband's side. Correct. Yeah.
Kamala's going to be moved to the Supreme Court before the election. This is my theory. They're going to replace her with Michelle Obama. If they beat Trump, then 6 months in, Biden will retire, or get sick or whatever it is, and then Michelle Obama will be the new president. Remember this. If this happens, you're gonna be like, "Holy shit! I got to go watch episode 5 GemX podcast." That's what I would do. I mean, if I was the one pulling the puppet strings, because we don't know who's doing it, that's what I would do. It's your best bet to win.
Because they don't have a strong team in there right now. Even if they try to pull out all the stops, I think they're getting nervous that Trump's getting a lot of support. It seems like a lot of the country's supporting him. A lot of votes that they would have normally counted on, that they're like, "Oh shit, we're kind of losing these people. Let's do an audible and switch up this play a little bit." So
I do want to mention, so for those of you watching after, we don't pay too much attention. I mean, we pay attention to the chat, but Chris and Logan had a hilarious statue. He goes, "I'm leaving the country. I'm going to move to Texas."
I saw that.
Texas might secede by then. All right, so enough politics. Let's get to some fun stuff. Not that this fires everybody up, no matter what's.
Well, it's an outlet to talk about it, and I try to be open minded, but I just can't see myself agreeing with a lot of these moves that the Democrats are doing, man. Like, I'd hate to say it. I mean, I guess it is what it is, man. But I just don't agree with it, man. I don't know.
All right.
So anyway, so keeping it moving.
Yep. We're gonna do worst movie sequels of all time. This is a raw reaction by you and me. We haven't.
So last week we did the top, what was it, 50 best movie sequels of all time. We agreed with the top 2. I think there was a lot that we agreed with, a lot we didn't agree with.
So
the 25 worst.
Dark Knight with Heath Ledger and Christian Bale, and number 1 was T2, Terminator 2.
I called that before we even looked at the list. Terminator 2 is the greatest movie sequel of all time.
Yep.
And I was right. It was.
All right. So this is a slideshow here. So hopefully it's all right. 25. Caddyshack 2.
Hold on. My boy Wolfpack in the chat said Gremlins. Yo, have you ever seen the Key and Peele skit about them making Gremlins 2? Oh my god, I gotta send it to you. It's just fucking hilarious, man.
Oh, wait, is he voting for Gremlins 2 to be one of the worst? I liked Gremlins 2.
You love Gremlins 2 because you have all those crazy Gremlins statues.
I don't have them anymore, but this is why I liked it. 2 reasons. Number 1, Phoebe Cates. Phoebe Cates is one of the most beautiful women to ever walk this earth. And if Mrs. X is watching, I said one of the most because you're more beautiful than she is. And then number 2, I loved all the iterations of the Gremlins. You know, I mean the Spike and the smart one. Yeah,
I think I've caught Gremlins here and there as a kid. It's not a movie franchise that I sat down and watched. Like I couldn't recall watching the whole movie of any. How many did they make? Just the first 2?
They're in talks to make another one right now. But yeah, so some other ones that people are shouting out. We'll see if they're on the list. We got Grease 2.
Grease 2 sucked.
I would agree with those. Hey, I think every time I hold my thumb up, it gives me a thumbs up. Do you see that? It was weird. All right, I don't know. A lot of whiskey. All right, Caddyshack 2. So this one had no, this didn't have Rodney Dangerfield. This had the other dude.
So this is on the worst. So Caddyshack is one of those movies that my dad loved. It was like a little bit before my time.
You don't love Caddyshack? Caddyshack's amazing.
Again, it was one of my dad's. He always loved Caddyshack and all this and that. I never got into it.
Dude, this is like last week. I saw all these movies you hadn't seen. I must be as old as your dad.
You are old ass.
The Sting 2. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, me neither.
All right.
The Sting 2 from '83 is a terrible sequel, apparently.
Look at this. It had Jackie Gleason, Terry Garr. Those are some big names. Staying Alive.
Staying Alive. What is that?
That's John Travolta's dancing movie. Saturday Night Fever sequel.
Yeah. I never even heard of Staying Alive.
These. Troll 2.
2.
I didn't even see
1990. No wonder it's a terrible sequel. List. Yeah, we haven't had to look at another. Poltergeist 3.
So I didn't like Poltergeist 2. I don't even remember 3. 1 is amazing.
I've only seen parts of 1. That's the one with the girl in the bed and her head spins around, right?
No, that's an Exorcist.
Oh, I don't even know what Poltergeist is then.
Oh, it's so good. It's an 80s cult classic. It's got a Coach, whatever that guy's name is, and the little girl. AVP 2, I agree with this 100%. That was one of the worst fucking movies.
But I have fun watching those movies, man.
This one was so bad. I mean, it introduced the wolf predator, which was cool as shit. And
well, that's what you have to get in every one of these movies is like a new version of one of the aliens. Is this the second AVP then, or is this the first Aliens vs. Predator?
This is the one that happened in Colorado that at the end.
Oh, Requiem. Yeah, this was like a made-for-TV version or something.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad movie. Blair Witch 2.
Oh yeah, Blair Witch. Did you like Blair Witch Project?
I barely remember it. I remember the guy I was in the theater with got sick from the motion.
So I was gonna say, were you one of the people that could watch it or couldn't watch it because you would get sick? I watched it.
I'm pretty solid with that. I never knew there was a second one.
Yeah.
So I don't remember this one. I know I watched it because
same.
So I don't think this would be like the worst. The 18th worst one ever made.
Yeah, especially to be like above all these other ones that are shit we never even heard of. Friday, yeah, all these horror movies. I mean, of course, it's part fucking 5, man. What do you expect?
Although Fast
Boy.
and Furious is on like a number 11. Zoolander 2, I never saw that.
Zoolander 1 was so good too, and I remember we watched Zoolander 2 one time. It was like, yo, this is whack, man. Zoolander 1 with Mugatu and all that shit.
Baby Geniuses.
Gremlins 2. Oh no, I thought it said Gremlins 2. It was Baby Geniuses 2.
Yeah, never watched that. We might check out the other list too, just to see.
Yeah, Birds too. I know Birds. The Birds was from Edgar Allan Poe or some shit, right?
Alfred Hitchcock, Edgar Allan Poe. That was The Raven, Nevermore. Man. Hey,
quote The Raven.
Hey, if you watch last week's episode, you'll see how far Jem got in college.
I didn't graduate high school. We talk about college.
Oh, American Psycho 2, never saw it.
Oh, so first of all, it was shot not even as the sequel to American Psycho, and then they just added one little scene and kind of made it a sequel to it, but with a different person. Yeah, it wasn't even. Yeah.
Is that Mila Kunis?
Yes.
Damn, she's young.
It was in 2002.
Yeah, probably. Dumb and I agree
my
with this.
God.
This was rough.
It wasn't even the same actors.
Oh no, I didn't see this one. I saw like the remake they did like 20 years later with the original actors, which I thought was horrible. Okay.
Yeah. Go down. Who is this? The 80s prequel to Dumb and Dumber stars Derek Richardson and Eric Christian Olsen. Bro, how do you do Dumb and Dumber without Jim Carrey and what's the other guy's name?
Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels, that's right.
Arachnophobia guy. All right, I agree with this. This was horrible.
What's crazy is these are the movies I grew up with. Batman Forever with fucking Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Batman Forever is okay. I'll give you that.
Well, yeah, this one you got Arnold as Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
What's her face as Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy.
Bane.
Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl was whack, but she was so hot off of that Clueless train, right? Damn, man.
I was so pissed that George Clooney was
that was whack too, man. Like I got on board with Val Kilmer. I was like, okay, Val Kilmer, whatever.
I was so pissed when he showed up at the end of Flash, the new Flash movie.
Oh, he did, right? That's right. I didn't even remember that.
Yeah, it's like that's the Batman you could have gotten. You could have gotten any of the other ones that would have been better.
You ever see that meme where it's like an older version of Val Kilmer and he's like, hey guys, remember when I was Batman? It's fucked up.
So I recently saw in 2012 they did a Trivial Pursuit. There's a Trivial Pursuit question saying
where they're all the wrong answers.
Which actor has not played Batman? And this is before Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, yeah.
And Ben Affleck's supposed to be the answer.
Yeah.
Basic Instinct 2, never saw it. I've seen the first one, which is
which is a good
movie.
This shit was so whack.
I didn't see it. Who played? Oh, Jamie Kennedy was it.
So he has a YouTube channel and he talks about all this type of shit, man. This shit was terrible. Again, you can't redo these Jim Carrey movies without Jim Carrey. It ain't gonna work. He's the star of the movies. This shit is terrible.
Read shit about Jim Carrey, like him growing up. It's fascinating. It's
Jim Carrey. He had a crazy life, man. Didn't he live out of a van or some shit? Or am I thinking about someone else? It was, right?
Yeah, this was pretty bad. Although as a kid, I liked it because I was a kid when this came out. It came out in '87. I really enjoyed it because I really liked Nuclear Man, the enemy.
Is this the one where Richard Pryor was in it, or that's part 3?
No, that was bad. That was worse than this, in my opinion.
All these movies were before my time. I could never get into those Superman movies. I purposely boycotted this movie. They're fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm an anti-LeBron guy, especially as a huge basketball guy. So
yeah, Space Jam is a classic, but that's
Scary Movie 5. Some of these were pretty good.
First of all, Scary Movie, you have to go through the history. They were created by the Wayans brothers, Sean and Marlon Wayans. They lost the movie. The movie franchise was taken from them. So I think everything after the second one, they weren't involved with. So they should all be on the list. 3, 4, 5.
3 was good, though. 3 was actually pretty good.
Maybe that was the last one they did. I don't know. But the first one was...
Charlie Sheen was the main actor in that, too. So I'm not sure. Somebody mentioned this in the chat. Somebody called this one out. I agree.
Yeah, I remember seeing the first one in the movie theaters as a kid, Speed.
That was
Keanu,
good.
right? Yeah, it was a good movie.
Yep. Yeah, 2 was horrible. Had William Dafoe was the villain.
You know it's Willem?
Ah, I didn't know that.
It's not William because we were watching. Oh, it was an American Psycho. We watched it recently, and my wife pointed out. She's like, "Oh, it's Willem." I was like, "Oh yeah, what do you know? It is."
Oh, they made a Showgirls too.
Number 4 on the list is crazy.
So I think this girl right here was in Showgirls 1. I watched that a ton of times when I was young.
I know. As a kid in the 90s. Oh, yeah, because the first one, I'm sure, was in the 90s. It was like one of those where you could see some skin.
Jaws, I agree. This was horrible. Jaws is one of the best movies of all time, the original.
Nah, see, I'm not on that train with you.
Grease
2, number 2. Hold on, we didn't take bets on what the first one was, man. Do you think it's Gremlins 2?
No, I bet you it's one we've never even heard of. That's what
some bullshit, like freaking Jason 5 or some shit.
Now, interesting thing about Grease 2, Michelle Pfeiffer was the main character.
And wasn't it like motorcycles instead of cars or something?
I don't know. I know it was reversed though, where she was the pink lady and she was kind of the Danny Zuko, and it was a nerd guy.
Got you.
So it's been so long. All right, yeah. Oh,
Exorcist 2. Let's breeze through that other list real quick and see what they said, right?
Yeah. Oh shit! I had it open. Yeah, it was on Rotten Tomatoes.
59.
Yeah, so Exorcist 1 I've seen only a few times because to me, Exorcist 1 is the scariest movie ever made. I will die on that hill.
So what makes it the scariest for you?
So part of it is I believe shit like that can happen.
Right. Okay. I'm with you on that. I don't fuck around with it. I'm not going to sit here and doubt it.
So this is going in. This starts at number 1, but
that's fucked up. So Super Babies, but so that was on the other list too, but not at number 1. Jaws of Revenge, Return to the Blue Lagoon. Okay, Staying Alive, Making It Again.
Return to the Blue Lagoon is new though.
Yeah, Highlander. Are you a big Highlander guy? I can see you liking that shit.
I watched the first one, but I mean I liked it. I like the actor. I can't remember his name. Christopher Lambert. I like that guy.
Oh yeah, I like him from Mortal Kombat. Played Raiden.
Yeah, his voice is killer.
Yeah.
Police Academy 4. I don't even remember which one that was. The first one was good.
I never got into those.
Don't know what that is. Never
the
saw
Ring movies. Yeah.
Gallows Act. Never. The Sting 2. That was on the other list.
The Crow. Yeah, I can see that.
I never watched. The original was great. Police Academy has 3 in the top 14. It's bad.
Well, why did they make 6 of them to begin with, man? Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, yeah. This one was already there. I disagree with the. Oh no, this one was bad. Yeah. I like
because the whole 9 yards was the first one, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was bad.
What about Analyze This and Analyze That with Robert De Niro? Had those where he. Oh, Mortal Kombat Annihilation was terrible, man.
It was.
As much of an MK. The first movie to me was the best video game movie of all time, probably up until the recent Mario movie.
I agree. They played the music at the right time. It was just
the characters. They did it so well. I was actually considering rewatching that movie. I was like, yeah, I should watch the original Mortal Kombat again. But
every few years, I think it's
Annihilation sucked. There you go, Scary Movie 5, Caddyshack 2 again. Oh, Tyler Perry. You can put all the Tyler Perrys on here.
I was so gonna say the same thing.
Big Mama's House 2.
I never seen
Big Mama's 3, I'm sure that is.
Yep.
Remember Universal Soldier?
The original, yeah, I never watched this one.
I think Mario Van Peebles was in the first one.
Yeah, they got Troll 2, Major League 2. That's a
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah. I don't think
wasn't it called Part I thought it was called Part Due or something like that. Oh, that's Hot Shots, Part Due. Hot Shots,
which that was good.
Yeah, I liked all those movies back in the day.
Return of the Living Dead, Highlander 3, Basic Instinct 2, Son of the Mask.
Son of the Mask should probably be number 1, bro.
Is it that bad?
Yo, it's so bad.
Paul Blart, both of them should be on there.
Yeah.
Piranha 2, Student of the Year, never heard of it. Bad News, I never watched that one. Leprechaun 2, which one was this?
I don't know. I don't.
This is when he had
TV,
to fly.
Oh, okay.
I liked it. I haven't seen it in 20 years, but I liked it. This was on there.
Van Wilder.
Did you the Rise of Time? I love the first Van Wilder. I
me too.
Most Ryan Reynolds stuff. It's hard.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
This was pretty bad. You know
Yeah.
what's crazy is she is such an amazing actress.
Hmm.
Hilary Swank. Did you ever see that Office episode?
Which one was she in?
No, she wasn't in it, but they were arguing whether she was hot or ugly.
Oh,
It was
okay.
like the topic of it.
I don't remember that one.
Revenge of the Nerds 2. All right.
I never got into
House
that.
3, Race 3. Problem Child 2. I like that growing up, actually. Problem Child 2.
Yeah.
Never seen that.
Grown
Did
ups.
you see any of the Grown Ups movies? I haven't.
Yeah, I think I saw both of them actually. Wasn't it Adam Sandler movies?
Yeah. With like a ton of famous people. Chris Rock, David Spade.
Well, it was like all his friends he put in the movies like he does.
Teen Wolf 2, that was horrible.
Yeah, terrible. Because the first one was a classic.
Yep. Jason Bateman, he was a boxer instead of a basketball player.
Mm.
Mimic 2, Little Fockers.
Yeah, that's Meet the Parents shit.
Did you ever watch Dusk Till Dawn 2?
I think I watched it one time and I was like, damn, it's not nowhere near as good as the first one.
Yeah, it wasn't Tarantino.
Yeah. But was Tarantino the director of the first one, or he just had something to do with it, I thought?
Oh, he was by the style, I guarantee it was.
I don't know. I don't think it was. I think he was a producer on it. You gonna look it up? I don't think he directed that. I know he was in it, but I think he was a producer. It wasn't Tarantino style. It went chronologically.
Oh, it was written by Tarantino.
Okay, yeah, that's what it makes. I knew it was something like that.
Yeah. It was his style for sure.
Yeah, Deuce Bigelow deserves it.
Bigelow, I like that. I ain't gonna lie. I thought that was funny.
Stupid. He's super based on Twitter. You ever see him on there? Rob Schneider?
Oh yeah, I follow him, man. He posted something today.
He's red pilled. So is James Woods. If you ever see him on Twitter,
I comment on James Woods all the time. So, I will say this: James Woods got me. I never knew his political stance. Like in 2017, he goes, "I've never seen such blind prejudice and hatred towards somebody who just wants to make the country better."
Right.
Species 2, I kind of like that one.
Yeah, RoboCop 3.
That was horrible. That was god awful.
I got to rewatch the first one. I think I saw bits and pieces as a kid, but I haven't seen 1 and 2 throughout that I can recall everything that happened in those movies.
2 is a guilty pleasure of mine. One's kind of a cult classic. 2 is a guilty pleasure of mine.
Well, see, that's what I feel about Mortal Kombat. Like, I know Mortal Kombat Annihilation is bad, but it's still a guilty pleasure for me. Like, I still like to watch it, and yeah.
I can't even watch that shit. It's so bad.
All right, man. Damn.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody commented that Bad Boys 2 sucked.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know about that. I think people liked it when it came out, man.
So, as fathers of daughters, we're both fathers of daughters. That scene where his daughter's boyfriend comes to the door. Did you know that was improv?
I do remember seeing that now, and the kid didn't know what to do or whatever.
That's why he was so awkward. They weren't supposed to do that.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, just Google Bad Boys daughter scene. But anyway, long story short is they act like drunk criminals pulling out guns in front of her date and be like, "I'm gonna kill you if you bring her back."
Just trying to intimidate him, yeah. But that's funny because that was exactly the scene that I was thinking in my head when he started to say it. Yeah, that movie. I don't think that movie was bad.
No,
it was like Bad Boys. Bad Boys, the first one was kind of one of those underrated movies. I think Bad Boys 2 was like a bigger movie than the first one.
You could tell they had a much bigger budget.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Independence Day, Independence Day 2 was pretty bad.
Oh, yeah, and they did it years later where they had so much opportunity to make a better movie, and it's like, the first one was a classic too. But also, man, that was Will Smith in his peak, man. Independence Day, Men in Black. Men in Black sequel should have been on one of these lists.
Yeah.
3 especially, yeah.
Yeah.
2 sucked as well.
2 was worse than 3 in my opinion. At least 3 they got Thanos in it.
Yeah, in 3 they had something. I don't want to spoil it, but anyway.
You can't. It's been out for 15 years, man.
Well, the thing where that was his son or something the whole time.
So, what's funny is like when we watch Goonies, every other year or so, I tell my kids that the older brother is Thanos, and they can't get.
Oh, yeah.
The older brother is Thanos. The younger kid is Samwise. It's like just seeing where their careers went, and then even Data was in Loki.
Yeah, there was a lot of superhero guys that came out of that.
Yeah, just where people.
And he was Cable too. Don't forget.
Yeah. We've done that before. I feel like on a chat where we look at actors that played multiple superheroes. Ryan
Did
Reynolds.
we?
Wolverine
Were we
Lance.
supposed to do that for this channel? I thought maybe.
No, I don't. I think we've done it. What are some other ones? An
Well,
actor
you had Chris Evans as Human Torch and Captain America. You've got the guy who plays Quicksilver and Kick-Ass. I forget what his name is. Evan something maybe, or
actors. We still got like 5 minutes. Let's throw this up here. I have to go watch Barbie. So
Barbie's not a bad movie. I'll tell you right now.
all right.
The beginning is almost like it throws you off. You're like, wait a minute, what the fuck?
Oh, all right. Hey, Michelle Pfeiffer played Catwoman and
Wasp, right?
Wasp.
No,
Yeah,
the
she
older
was
Wasp.
the Wasp.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, Daredevil. That's right.
Christian Bale. Yeah, that's right.
Well, who do you play besides
Gore.
Batman and fucking Gore, the God Butcher? Yeah.
Halle Berry was Storm.
Catwoman and Storm. Yeah.
Thanos.
Yeah,
Just
cool.
talked about him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Ghost Rider and almost Superman.
Yeah, well, technically he was, since he was in the
in the Flash movie, and he was Spider-Man, the voice of Spider-Man Noir in Into the Spider-Verse, and he was in Kick-Ass.
Who did Jim Carrey play besides Riddler? Let's see if you know.
He was also in the sequel to Kick-Ass.
Oh, was he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, right there. Oh, Idris Elba. That's right. He was Heimdall and Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Oh, he was also in Ghost Rider: Spirits of Vengeance.
That should have been on one of these worst sequels lists.
Yes. The first movie was pretty bad.
I like the first movie, man.
Oh yeah, Tom Hardy was Bane and Venom.
Bane and Venom. That's a pretty cool to put on your resume, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know this was Tom Hardy as Bane when it first came out.
Yeah, I didn't really know. I wasn't really a fan of Tom Hardy at the time. Yeah, this guy was Moon Knight, and that's where I think we were talking about it.
That's what we talked about last week. Samuel L. Jackson. Oh yeah. Well, I don't think Glass is technically but he was in The Incredibles too. So.
Mm-hmm. But that Unbreakable series is cool.
Who was?
He was Human Torch. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
In that terrible Fantastic Four movie.
I didn't even watch it. Keaton was the Vulture.
Batman, Vulture, and wasn't he? He appeared as Vulture again in Morbius. He was Howard the Duck.
No, he was in Howard the Duck.
Was it?
No. That's when he was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Leto was Morbius and Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Professor X and the guy from Split, I guess. Yeah.
Did you? If you haven't watched these movies, this guy is an amazing actor.
No, I was gonna say it's just in Split alone.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but that's the other movie. Keaton was Birdman in that one movie, which was like a satire. Was it a satire movie or was it a weird kind of movie?
They won Oscars, I think.
Oh, that's what he is. Aaron Taylor Johnson. He played Quicksilver and Kick-Ass.
Okay, that might be it. Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. Well, thank you to everyone that joined us tonight and everyone that's watching after the fact. Please hit the like button. Throw a comment down below if you weren't in the live chat. Just let us know what you think, and we promise we'll make fun of you in a future chat.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Have a good Friday. Bye.
Bye.